This is part 2 of our leg of lamb roast. This will be focusing on the roast vegetables and vegetables in general, and I've also got a nice gravy at the end of it from the stock left over from the roast itself. So what we're going to start with, our potatoes. Every roast needs some nice crispy potatoes. So what we're going to do is going to grab 5 good sized potatoes, and we're just going to peel them, wash them, and then cut them into large chunks. You don't want them too small because we're going to be parboiling them for about 15 minutes. So we'll cut them all up and place them into some boiling water for 15 minutes. This just gets the outsides all nice and soft, so we can show you a little trick later. Now, we have a lemon that we zested earlier, so what I've done, I've just cut this in half, and I'm going to stick half of a lemon straight into the boiling water. This will help scent the potatoes with a little bit of our lemon. It's actually quite nice. So once these potatoes are in for 15 minutes, we can take them out and strain them, and then we can put them back into the pot and give them a nice shake. Now this just develops their nice fluffy edges. It really helps to make the roast potatoes quite nice and crunchy. So it's a good trick to have in your arsenal. Sweet beans. Now it's time to cook these puppies. We've just put a pan in the oven that's got some oil on it. So we've just heated up the oil, and now we're going to stick our fluffed up potato straight into this hot oil. Should hear it have a nice sizzle. So we're going to season this with a little bit of salt and pepper, and a little bit of a trick is to add a pinch of turmeric. Turmeric's quite a yellow spice, and it's almost like a cheat's way of making some nice golden potatoes. So that little bit of colour really helps in the end. And we're going to give the whole thing a nice toss so everything gets a nice even coating. I'm going to stick it in the oven with the lamb on a different rack, obviously, but this should be in there for about an hour to get some nice crispy potatoes. Once again, a roast isn't complete if you don't have some roast pumpkin. So this goes in a little bit later than the potatoes because it takes less time to cook. So about 20 minutes later than the potatoes, you can pull them out and then put on our pumpkin that we've cut into quite large chunks. Don't want to make them too small because your pumpkin will likely disintegrate if your pieces are too small. So you still want some pumpkin to hold its shape. That's what I'm trying to get at. So these go in for the remaining 40 minutes and should be nice and tasty when they come out. If you feel like it, you can also add a pinch of nutmeg to the pumpkin. Nutmeg goes quite well with pumpkin, so just a pinch of nutmeg to the pumpkin and it'll taste delicious. As the pumpkin, lamb and the potatoes get close to being finished, around about 20 minutes out, you might want to start thinking about if you're going to have some more vegetables. Now I'm just going to steam some green beans and some carrots. It'll just add some nice colour to your plate and some nice flavours also. So like I said, we're going to steam them. Steaming is a lot better than boiling your vegetables because boiling removes some of the nutrients inside the vegetables and steaming does not. So steam them for about 5 to 10 minutes. You want them to be warm through and hot, but you don't want them to be too steamed, otherwise it'll be floppy and soft. So once they're done, you can take them off the heat and put a dab of butter in and a little bit of brown sugar. Mix it around and you've got some beautiful vegetables. In my opinion, every roast should have a gravy of some sort. It's fairly basic. It's got quite a bit of ingredients, but it's quite basic. So what we're going to do, we're just going to start by frying some red onions in a pan, and then once these are getting nice and transparent, we're going to stick in about 50 grams of butter. It'll just sort of caramelize the onions. Now you can see that the onions are starting to get quite browned. You're going to be cooking them slowly, so now we can add 1 cube of beef stock. Just crumble it in and mix it around, and just let it do its thing for around about another 3 minutes. Now we can add in that stock from the roast I've been talking about. Now it's important to skim most of the fat. You'll find that the juices from the roast, there will be 2 distinct layers, and the top layer is the oils and the fats that we don't really want, so we can skim some of that off with a spoon, but leave about 1 teaspoon in there. So we can tip the remaining juices in, and you'll see that it'll start simmering away and reducing. For a bit of added sweetness, we can stick in a few lugs of balsamic vinegar. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. You can also stick in some sugar, but this has got a very distinct flavour. It's quite nice, so if you can get your hands on some, definitely do it. Okay, now that we have the base of our gravy sorted, we can stick in our water with a bit of corn flour. I've stuck in 1 cup of water with 2 tablespoons of corn flour dissolved into it. So this is pretty much the end of the gravy. It'll just thicken up over it by itself. And then once it's ready, put it in a pot and you can serve it with the rest of everything. So by now everything should be ready. Your lamb should be sitting for 15 minutes, your roast potatoes and pumpkins should be done, your vegetables should be steamed, and your gravy should be sorted.org, and you should have no problems. You can serve this up and I can assure you it'll go down a treat and definitely impress a few people. So thank you for watching this sort of extended video, and end of the week I might have a brownie recipe up for you guys as well. Okay, cheers.